Have you ever heard the doorbell ring and felt your heart sink? Picture this. It's a quiet evening. You're finally alone, sinking into your favorite chair. When ding-dong, someone's at the door. Instantly, a wave of unease washes over you. Not anger, not rudeness, just a deep, quiet urge to stay in your own space. If this sounds like you, take a deep breath. You're not weird. And you're definitely not alone. According to Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, your dislike for visitors might reveal something profound about your soul. In this video, we're diving into 6 powerful truths from Carl Jung's psychology that explain why you crave solitude and how it's not a flaw, but a sign of a deeper inner journey. Stick around until the end, because if you've ever felt guilty for wanting to be alone, you're about to discover why it's one of the most beautiful parts of who you are. And if this resonates, hit that like button and drop a comment. Do you dread unexpected visitors? Or is your home your sacred escape? Let's find out together. Imagine this. It's the end of a long day. You step through your front door, kick off your shoes, and let out a deep sigh. The world outside, its noise, its demand, its chaos fades away. You're finally home. In a space that feels like you, the soft hum of silence wraps around you like a warm blanket. And for the first time all day, you can just be. But then, the doorbell rings. Your stomach tightens. A friend, a neighbor, or maybe a family member is standing outside, expecting to come in, chat, and fill your sacred space with their energy. If that moment makes you cringe, you're not rude or broken. According to Carl Jung, your home isn't just a physical place. It's a mirror of your soul, and your resistance to visitors might be your psyche's way of protecting something sacred. In Jungian psychology, the home is one of the most powerful symbols of the self. It's not just walls and furniture. It's a living reflection of your inner world. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, believed that every part of your home represents a piece of your psyche. Your bedroom, that's your private, intimate self, where you dream and recharge. The living room, it's the face you show the world, your social mask. The kitchen, it's where you nourish your body and soul. Even the basement holds the shadowy corners of your unconscious memories, fears, or the cedars you've tucked away. When someone walks through your front door, they're not just entering a physical space. They're stepping into the most sacred territory of your being. And for some of us, that feels like an invasion. Let's meet Sarah, a 32-year-old graphic designer who's always felt a little off about having people over. Sarah loves her friends, enjoy deep conversations over coffee. But when it comes to inviting them into her apartment, something shifts. One Saturday, her best friend, Emily, texted, "Hey, I'm nearby, mind if I swing by?" Sarah's heart sank. She wasn't mad at Emily, but the thought of her cozy, quiet space being disrupted made her feel uneasy. She forced a smile, opened the door, and spent the next hour making small talk, all while feeling like a stranger in her own home. By the time Emily left, Sarah was exhausted, not because of the conversation, but because her sanctuary had been disturbed. Does Sarah's story sound familiar? Maybe you've felt that same quiet dread when someone wants to pop by. Carl Jung would say, Sarah's reaction isn't about being antisocial, it's about her soul craving a safe space to breathe. For many of us, especially those who lean toward introversion, the home is a sanctuary where the chaos of the outside world can't reach. It's where you shed the expectations of others, where you don't have to perform or pretend. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey to become your true, authentic self. Your home is the cocoon where this transformation happens. It's where you process your thoughts, reflect on your day, and reconnect with who you really are. When a visitor arrives, even with the best intentions, they bring their own energy, their stories, their emotions, their expectations, and that can disrupt the delicate balance you've worked so hard to create. Here's the thing, this isn't about disliking people. It's about honoring the sacredness of your inner world. Carl Jung believed that the psyche needs space to heal, grow, and integrate. When you're constantly on for others, smiling, chatting, playing the perfect host, you're pulling energy away from yourself. For someone like Sarah, or maybe for you, opening the door to a visitor can feel like opening a window to a storm. The outside world rushes in, and suddenly, your calm, centered self is swept away. Carl Jung put it beautifully. The house is a symbol of the psyche, and its door is the boundary between you and the other. When you choose who crosses that threshold, you're not just protecting your home, you're protecting your soul. So, what does this mean for you? If you've ever felt guilty for dodging a visitor or saying not today to a friend, it's time to let that guilt go. Your need for solitude isn't a flaw. It's a sign that you're listening to your psyche's deepest needs. Carl Jung taught that respecting your boundaries is a critical step toward wholeness. Your home is your temple, a place where your soul can rest, reflect, and grow. And when you guard that space, you're not being selfish, you're practicing self-care on the deepest level. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever noticed how different you feel when you're alone in your home versus when someone else is there? Maybe it's the way you move more freely, think more clearly, or just feel more you. That's no accident. Carl Jung believed that solitude allows the psyche to realign, like a compass finding true north. When you're alone, you're not distracted by the expectations of others. You can listen to the quiet whispers of your inner self, the thoughts, dreams, and feelings that get drowned out in the noise of social life. For Sarah, her quiet evenings alone are when she feels most creative, sketching designs that flow straight from her soul. What about you? What do you discover about yourself when you're alone in your sacred space? Here's a practical takeaway. Start seeing your home as more than just a place to live. Treat it as a sanctuary for your soul. Create small rituals to honor that space. A cup of tea in silence, a journal by your bedside, or even just a moment to sit and breathe. When someone asks to visit, give yourself permission to say, "I need some time to myself today." You don't owe anyone an explanation. Carl Jung would remind you that protecting your inner world is an act of courage, not weakness. And when you do invite someone in, make it intentional. Choose people who respect your space and lift your energy, not drain it. By the end of this chapter, you might be starting to see your home in a new light. It's not just a physical space. It's a reflection of your soul's journey. When you feel that resistance to visitors, it's not about being rude or cold. It's your psyche whispering, "This space is sacred. Protect it." As we move forward, we'll explore why visitors can feel so draining, especially if you're introverted, and how Carl Jung's insights can help you embrace your need for solitude without guilt. So, stick with us. Have you ever felt your home is your safe haven? Drop a comment below and let us know. Let's keep diving deeper into your soul's story. Have you ever felt like a battery running on low? Just because someone stepped into your space, you're not annoyed at them. You don't dislike them. But their presence feels like it's pulling the plug on your energy. If this hits home, you're about to discover why. According to Carl Jung, this isn't just random. It's a fundamental part of how your psyche works. Welcome to Chapter 2. where we'll unpack why visitors can leave you feeling drained, especially if you're introverted, and how understanding your energy can set you free. Carl Jung, the brilliant mind behind analytical psychology, gave us the terms introvert and extrovert, but he wasn't just talking about shyness or sociability. For Carl Jung, it's all about where your psychic energy flows. Extroverts thrive on the outside world crowds, conversations, and action recharge them. Introverts, on the other hand, draw their strength from within. Silence, solitude, and introspection are your power sources. When a visitor shows up, even with a smile and a friendly chat, they bring a wave of external energy that can throw your inner balance off kilter. It's not personal, it's psychological. Let's meet Alex, a 28-year-old writer who loves his work but dreads unexpected guests. Last weekend, Alex was deep in thought, crafting a story in his quiet apartment, when his neighbor knocked on the door. "Just stopping by to say hi," she said cheerfully. Alex invited her in, put on a polite smile, and made small talk for 20 minutes. But inside, he felt like his creative spark was fading. By the time she left, Alex couldn't write another word. He was completely drained. Sound familiar? Maybe you've had a moment where a short visit left you, feeling like you ran a marathon. Here's what's happening. According to Jung, introverts have a finite amount of psychic energy for external interactions. When you're alone, you're in your element. Your mind is free to wander, reflect, or create. But when someone enters your space, you shift gears. You have to listen, respond, and engage, which pulls energy away from your inner world. Carl Jung called this the libido, not in the modern sense, but as the life force that fuels your psyche. For introverts, that force flows inward, and too much external stimulation, like an unexpected visitor, can leave you running on empty. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about how your energy is wired. Think of your psyche like a phone battery. When you're alone, you're plugged in, charging up in the quiet of your own space. A visitor, even a well-meaning one, is like an app running in the background, draining your battery faster than you can recharge. For Alex, his neighbor's visit wasn't just a chat, it was a disruption to his creative flow, his inner sanctuary. And when that happens, it's not just tiring, it can feel like you're losing a piece of yourself. So, what can you do about it? Carl Jung would say, the first step is understanding your energy. If you're introverted, your home is your charging station. It's where you restore your mental and emotional reserves. When a visitor arrives, you're not just opening your door, you're opening your psyche to their energy, their questions, their expectations. That's why even a short visit can feel overwhelming. The good news, you don't have to feel guilty about it. Carl Jung believed that honoring your energy is a key part of psychological health. Here's a practical tip. Start setting boundaries that protect your energy. If someone wants to visit, try saying, "Hey, I'm in a quiet zone today. Can we catch up another time?" It's not about rejecting people, it's about respecting your needs. You can also create a ritual to recharge after a visit, like journaling, taking a walk, or even just sitting in silence for 10 minutes. These small acts help you reclaim your energy and stay connected to yourself. Let's reflect for a second. Have you ever felt that instant exhaustion when someone walks into your space? Maybe it's a friend who stays too long, or a family member who doesn't pick up on your cues. That's your psyche, signaling it needs a break. Carl Jung's wisdom reminds us that introversion isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It means you're attuned to your inner world. And that's a gift. As we move to the next chapter, we'll dive into how visitors can stir up hidden parts of your psyche. something Carl Jung called the shadow. So, stick around. How do you recharge after a draining visit? Drop a comment, and let's keep exploring your soul's journey. Have you ever had a visitor say something harmless, but it left you feeling strangely unsettled? Maybe a casual comment hit a nerve, or their presence made you feel irritated for no clear reason. You might think, why am I reacting like this? They didn't do anything wrong. According to Carl Jung, this discomfort isn't random. It's your shadow waking up. Welcome to Chapter 3, where we'll explore how visitors can stir hidden parts of your psyche and why these moments are a chance to grow closer to your true self. In Jungian psychology, the shadow is the part of you that you keep tucked away, your fears, insecurities, suppressed emotions, or even traits you don't want to admit you have. It's not necessarily dark or bad. It's just the stuff you've pushed out of sight, often because it feels too raw or uncomfortable. When someone enters your home, they don't just bring their voice or their stories. They bring a mirror. Their presence can unknowingly reflect parts of your shadow, stirring feelings you didn't even know were there. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves, and when it comes to visitors, this couldn't be truer." Let's meet Mia, a 3-5-year-old teacher who loves her quiet evenings at home. One day, her cousin dropped by unannounced, bursting with energy and chatter. As they sat in Mia's living room, her cousin casually said, "You're so quiet these days, don't you ever get lonely living like this?" The comment seemed innocent, but it hit Mia like a punch. She felt a mix of anger and shame bubble up, though she couldn't quite explain why. After her cousin left, Mia spent the rest of the evening replaying the words, feeling restless and exposed. Has something like this ever happened to you? A visitor's offhand remark leaves you rattled, and you're not sure why. Here's what's going on. Carl Jung believed the shadow holds everything we've buried: old wounds, fears of rejection, or even parts of ourselves we've been taught to hide. When someone enters your sacred space, their words or energy can poke at those hidden corners. For Mia, her cousin's comment touched a sore spot, her fear that her love for solitude might be seen as wrong or lonely. It wasn't about her cousin's intention. It was about what the comment triggered in Mia's shadow. Carl Jung put it powerfully. What you do not bring into consciousness appears in your life as fate. That irritation or unease you feel, it's your shadow whispering. There's something here you need to look at. This isn't about blaming the visitor. It's about recognizing that your reaction is a clue to your inner world. Maybe a guest's loud laughter reminds you of a time you felt overlooked, or their casual question about your life stirs up insecurities you've tried to ignore. These moments can feel like an invasion, not because of the person, but because they've brushed against a part of your psyche that's still raw. For introverts or sensitive souls, this can be especially intense, because your home is where you let your guard down. When someone steps into that space, it's like they're walking through the unguarded rooms of your soul. So, how can you turn these uncomfortable moments into growth? Carl Jung believed that facing your shadow is a crucial step in individuation, the journey to become your whole, authentic self. Instead of pushing away the irritation, lean into it. Ask yourself, why did this bother me? What part of me feels exposed? For Mia, reflecting on her cousin's comment helped her realize she'd been carrying a fear of judgment about her solitary lifestyle. By acknowledging it, she started to embrace her need for solitude as a strength, not a flaw. This is the gift of the shadow. It's not just a source of discomfort, it holds hidden potential, creativity, and truths waiting to be uncovered. Here's a practical step. Next time a visitor stirs up unease, take a moment afterward to journal about it. Write down what they said or did and how it made you feel. Then ask, what does this remind me of? Is there an old memory or fear tied to this? This simple act of reflection can help you shine a light on your shadow, turning a moment of discomfort into a step towards self-discovery. Carl Jung believed that integrating the shadow, accepting those hidden parts, makes you more whole, more grounded, more you. Let's pause and reflect. Have you ever felt a visitor's comment or presence hit a nerve you didn't expect? Maybe it left you replaying the moment for hours. That's your shadow speaking, and it's inviting you to listen. As we move to the next chapter, we'll explore why visitors can make you feel like you're wearing a mask in your own home and how to break free from that trap. So, stay with us. What's a moment when a visitor stirred something deep in you? Drop a comment below, and let's keep diving into your soul's journey. Have you ever smiled through a conversation with a guest, but deep down, you just wanted to scream? I need my space. You're not being rude. It's the weight of wearing a mask in your own home. According to Carl Jung, this feeling of fakeness comes from something called the persona, and it's a trap that can drain your soul. Welcome to Chapter 4, where we'll uncover why visitors can make you feel like you're playing a role and how to break free to be your true self. In Jungian psychology, the persona is the face you show the world. It's the polite, agreeable version of you that navigates social situations, whether it's laughing at a co-worker's joke or making small talk with a neighbor. The persona isn't fake. It's a necessary tool to function in society. But here's the catch when you have to wear it in your own home, where you're supposed to be your raw, authentic self. It feels exhausting. Carl Jung said, "The persona is a mask, but when you wear it too long, your soul begins to ache." For introverts or sensitive souls, a visitor can force you into this mask, and suddenly, your sanctuary feels like a stage. Let's meet James, a 40-year-old accountant who loves his quiet weekends. One Sunday, his sister-in-law dropped by unexpectedly with her kids. James put on his best host face, offering drinks, asking about their day, even playing with the kids. But inside, he was counting the minutes until they left. He felt like an actor, pretending to be cheerful, while his energy drained away. By the time they were gone, James collapsed on his couch, feeling like he'd betrayed himself. Sound familiar? Maybe you forced a smile through a visit, all while wishing you could just be alone, sipping coffee in silence. Here's why this happens. Your home is where you let your guard down, where you don't have to perform. But when a guest arrives, you snap into persona mode. You monitor your words, adjust your tone, and maybe even tidy up the dishes in the sink to seem put together. For introverts, this is like running a mental marathon. Every polite gesture pulls you further from your true self, and that disconnect is what makes you feel fake. Carl Jung believed the persona is essential for social life, but when it invades your private space, it creates tension. Your soul craves authenticity, and wearing a mask in your own home feels like a betrayal. So, how do you escape the persona trap? Carl Jung's wisdom points to one powerful truth. You have the right to be yourself in your own space. Start by setting boundaries that protect your authenticity. If a visitor shows up unannounced, it's okay to say, "Hey, I'm not up for company right now. Let's plan for another day." It's not about being cold. It's about honoring your soul's need for freedom. You can also prepare for visits by setting a time limit up front. Like, "I've got an hour before I need to wind down." This gives you control and lets you stay true to yourself. Here's a practical tip. Create a small ritual to reconnect with your authentic self after a visit. Maybe it's 5 minutes of deep breathing, listening to your favorite song, or writing down how you really felt during the interaction. These moments help you shed the persona and return to your core. For James, he started taking a short walk after guests left. letting the fresh air wash away the host mask. Over time, he felt less drained and more empowered to set boundaries. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever felt like you're acting during a visit? Putting on a show to keep things pleasant? That's the persona trap. And it's okay to want out. Carl Jung reminds us that your home is your sanctuary, not a stage. As we head to the next chapter, we'll explore the hermit archetype and why your love for solitude is a call to grow into your truest self. So, stick around. What's one time you felt trapped by your persona during a visit? Drop a comment below. And let's keep exploring your soul's journey. Picture an old man with a flowing white beard, holding a lantern, walking alone through a quiet forest at night. This is the hermit, an ancient archetype in Jungian psychology that speaks to something deep within you. If you've ever felt a pull to close your door, turn off your phone, and sink into the silence of your own space, that's not just a random urge. It's the hermit calling. According to Carl Jung, this longing for solitude isn't about hiding from the world. It's about finding yourself. Welcome to Chapter 5, where we'll explore why your need to be alone is a sacred invitation to grow into your truest self. In Carl Jung's world, archetypes are universal patterns that live in our collective unconscious, guiding our thoughts and behaviors. The hermit is one of the most powerful ever. It's not the lonely recluse society might imagine. It's a figure of wisdom, courage, and inner light. Carl Jung believed the hermit represents the part of you that craves stillness, not to escape life, but to dive deeper into it. When you feel that resistance to visitors, that quiet ache to be alone, it's the hermit whispering, "Come back to yourself. There's work to be done within." For Carl Jung, this is the heart of individuation, the lifelong journey to become who you were born to be, free from society's expectations or the masks you wear. Let's meet Laura, a 29-year-old artist who always felt out of place in a world that celebrates constant connection. Growing up, Laura was told she was too quiet or too sensitive. Social gatherings left her drained, and she'd often retreat to her small studio apartment, where she'd paint for hours in silence. One evening, a friend invited herself over for a quick catch-up. Laura agreed, but the visit left her feeling scattered, unable to focus on her art for days. Frustrated, she decided to say no to the next invite, choosing instead to spend the weekend alone. In that solitude, something magical happened. Laura's paintings came alive with new depth and emotion. She felt a quiet strength growing inside her, as if she was finally meeting herself. Have you ever had a moment like that, where being alone unlocked something powerful within you? Carl Jung taught that solitude is the crucible for transformation. In the noise of social life, visitors, small talk, expectations, it's easy to lose touch with your inner voice. But when you're alone, you create space for the soul to speak. The hermit archetype doesn't reject connection. It demands you connect with yourself first. For Laura, those quiet hours weren't about shutting out the world. They were about rediscovering her creativity, her passions, her truth. Carl Jung put it beautifully. Loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to express what truly matters to you. When you embrace solitude, you're not isolating. You're giving your soul room to breathe, to heal, and to grow. This isn't easy in a world that glorifies busyness and socializing. You might feel guilty for declining a visit or worry that you're being antisocial, but Carl Jung saw solitude as an act of courage. The hermit doesn't run from life. It faces it head-on, choosing to explore the inner world where real wisdom lives. When you say no to a visitor, you're saying yes to yourself. You're honoring the hermit's call to slow down, reflect, and uncover the parts of you that the world can't see. This is where you integrate your shadow, shed your persona, and step closer to individuation. It's where you become whole. Let's talk about how this feels in real life. Imagine you've had a long week, juggling work, errands, and endless notifications. You finally get a night to yourself. You light a candle, play soft music, and sink into your favorite chair. In that quiet, you start to notice things. Maybe a dream you've been ignoring, a feeling you've pushed aside, or a spark of inspiration. This is the hermit at work, guiding you to the truths that only surface in stillness. For Laura, solitude was where she found her artistic voice. For you, it might be where you solve a problem, rediscover a passion, or simply feel at peace. What do you find when you give yourself that sacred alone time? Here's a practical way to answer the hermit's call. Create a solitude ritual. It doesn't have to be grand. Maybe it's 15 minutes of journaling each night, a walk in nature, or a quiet corner where you can sit with your thoughts. Protect this time like you'd protect a treasure. If someone asks to visit, try saying, "I'm taking some time for myself today. Let's connect soon." This isn't selfish. It's sacred. You're giving yourself permission to grow. Carl Jung believed that honoring these moments of solitude builds inner strength, a quiet confidence that doesn't rely on external validation. But the hermit's call isn't about living in isolation forever. Carl Jung taught that a balanced life means finding harmony between solitude and connection. The hermit prepares you to meet the world authentically. After Laura embraced her alone time, she noticed something surprising. She felt more present with her friends when she did see them. By honoring her need for solitude, she could show up as her true self, not a drained version trying to please others. This is the gift of the hermit. It helps you build a foundation so strong that you can engage with the world on your terms. Let's reflect for a moment. Have you ever felt the pull to be alone? Not out of sadness, but because something inside you needed space to grow. That's the hermit calling, inviting you to discover your inner light. As we wrap up this chapter, know this. Your love for solitude isn't a flaw. It's a sign you're on the path to individuation, becoming the person you were meant to be. In our final chapter, we'll tie it all together and explore how to balance your need for solitude with meaningful connections. So, stick with us. What's one way you embrace solitude to reconnect with yourself? Drop a comment below. And let's keep exploring your soul's journey. And here we are, at the end of this journey. But really, it's just the beginning of yours. We've walked through Carl Jung's profound wisdom, uncovering why your dislike for visitors is more than just a quirk. It's a sacred signal from your soul, from seeing your home as a sanctuary, to understanding how your introverted energy works, to facing the shadow, shedding the persona, and answering the hermit's call. You've discovered something powerful. Your love for solitude isn't a flaw. It's a doorway to your truest self. Carl Jung reminds us that individuation, becoming who you were meant to be, starts in the quiet moments. When you close the door to the world and listen to the whispers of your soul. So, the next time you feel that urge to say no to a visitor, don't feel guilty. Embrace it. Your soul is asking for space to grow, to heal, to become whole. You're not closing yourself off. You're opening the door to a deeper, more authentic you. And that's a gift worth protecting. If this journey resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next dive into Carl Jung's wisdom. Share this video with someone who gets it, someone who treasures their alone time as much as you do, and drop a comment below. What's one way you honor your need for solitude? Let's spark a conversation that lights up your soul. Thank you for being here with us on Jung Psyche Hub. Keep listening to your inner voice, it's leading you home.